judgment. Now, this gentleman has been on that story since I think Tuesday when the hearings began. Seth Olale now joins us. Seth, what was notable, and also when do we expect a ruling?
Well, thank you so much. We expect in the coming days, it could be weeks, it could be months. It's only a decision that can be made by the 7-judge appellate court who have been presiding over this matter, over this hearing actually for the last 3 days. So bearing in mind that the ruling for the High Court in regards to the same case took over a month, actually close to over 2 months. So that is a decision that only the president of the Court of Appeal, that is Justice Daniel Musinga, perhaps can make. And we expect him maybe to just give a hint at the final end of this particular hearing. And like you said, of the earlier submissions from the former Justice Minister, Martha Karua, stating that this particular initiative will favor the political class and thereby urging the appellate court to dismiss the appeal and uphold the High Court's ruling. And also we heard from senior counsel, like you mentioned, John Khaminwa, who said that it actually will undermine the struggles of the constitution makers of this particular initiative, and actually the 2010 constitution, whereby he mentioned that it was actually put in place by the constitutional makers in order to remove some of the atrocities that were witnessed in history. And he did mention about the illegal disappearances and killings. He talked about extrajudicial killings as well. He also talked about the undermining of the judiciary by previous regimes, and he urged the court and the judges in this particular case to not forget what actually the makers of this constitution bared in mind when they were putting together this particular constitution, the 2010 constitution. And so what's happening right now, we have the Kenya National Union of Nurses, represented by lawyer Edgar Bugaiti, who is now giving the testimonial as to why he thinks that this particular appeal should be thrown out, because it says, according to the Kenya National Union of Nurses, is that their proposals that were made in the initial stages of the initiative were actually dismissed by the BBI Secretariat. And so according to the nurses, they say they're not involved, their welfare, their concerns are not addressed, and they just want the 7-judge appellate court to dismiss this particular appeal. But now let's listen in to the proceedings live from the Court of Appeal.
Altered gradually by amendment. I urge you, my Lord, to look at your screens for a moment and let us see also why the High Court's finding that the inquiry is factual makes sense. Kindly show us amendment number 7. My Lord, this is from page 1150 of the Attorney General's Record of Appeal, Volume 3.
Sorry, we may not be able to read it from here, but sorry, are you able to just refer to where it is from, so that we can follow?
That's okay, my Lord.
Which volume?
Volume 3.
Volume 3
of the Attorney General's Record of Appeal.
Record of Appeal.
Page 1150. If it could be turned over to the court, I would be grateful.
Edgar Busiaga is the counsel representing the Kenya National Union of Nurses in this particular petition. Now, what we expect in the afternoon, of course, like you mentioned, Olive, we expect a 1-hour final submission from the 4 appellants in this particular case. We talk about the IBC, the Attorney General, Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and the BBI Secretariat. They have been accorded 15 minutes each for the 4, meaning that they only have 1 hour. Remember that Raila Odinga has been enjoined in this particular case together with the BBI Secretariat. Later on, we hope to expect the court will give an indication or even announce when they expect to make this particular judgment. What we know, they're going for a retreat after the 4-day successive successive hearing here at the Court of Appeal. Back to you, Olive.
All right. Thank you, Seth Olale, for bringing us up to speed. And he will be filing a comprehensive report for 7 p.m. and 9 p.m.